Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at hempvillecbd.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
Welcome to the Filmsteins, the double feature podcast. Join us as we unravel the interwoven experience of the continuous conversation of cinema. Take part in pairing movies with their cursed counterparts, movies that share DNA, or even pairing questionable duos by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films to further the discussion. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready to join the 100-year conversation. This is the Filmsteins, where our movies are more than just entertainment. They're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmsteins. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm joined today by my cuddly friend, Lucy.
Oh, hello everyone.
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmsteins. Some recent episodes include The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snacks, District 9, Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Trolls Band Together. But today we are talking about the last proper 2D animation to come out of Disney's labor camps, Brother Bear.
Wow.
2003 Brother Bear.
You went there.
I went there. But for real though, as much work as they were putting out at the time, labor camps.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely some underpaid ex-Disney employees out there.
For sure. We don't get any more movies like this. So something they revolted. Obviously. This movie does live in an interesting place in time, though. It was at the tail end of the proper 2D Disney animation era of the 90s, right? And then it kind of evolved into the direct-to-DVD, direct-to-VHS sequels of everything that come out before, and things like Treasure Planet. I would even argue maybe Tarzan, Lilo and Stitch even, and Brother Bear got lost in the weeds. Literal weeds that should have been plucked out and never placed there to begin with. And you are the only person I've ever met to have a certain affinity with this movie. I even was always kind of like, whatever, I preferred Emperor's New Groove of that batch of movies than Treasure Planet. And Brother Bear was always one that I just turned off or didn't. I don't even know. I can't remember if I even had it. If I did, I never even. It was probably still wrapped up. It's probably worth some money now in VHS form.
Dang. Yeah, Brother Bear, I went to see it when it came out at the movie theater, which was rare. It was rare for our family to go to the movies, and it was even more rare for me to go with just a parent. So I guess that kind of holds a special place for me. But I mean, moving that aside, this movie is fucking amazing. And it's funny you say that because I did not like Treasure Planet or The Emperor's New Groove. I wasn't a fan of those movies. And Lilo and Stitch, I couldn't get into it. And Stitch being, a cute blue alien monster would be right up my alley, but just something about the Stitch craze, I didn't like it. I don't know, I felt like all the girls who liked Lilo and Stitch liked The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Maybe.
I'm just not about that.
I might even posit that I think this Lilo and Stitch craze of today has been completely forced. Because it was never very big, I don't think. I think it may have floated in that camp of Nightmare Before Christmas girls. But, and it did manage to get a show, which I feel like is a little bit of a mystery.
Yeah, like Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of vanished for 15 years. And all of a sudden, in the last 12 to 18 months. I guess probably because of the movie that's coming up, the live action remake, we're being forced this level of merch that would confuse one to think that this was always popular. And Lilo and Stitch was like Emperor's New Groove. I mean, Emperor's New Groove also had a TV show. Does anyone even remember that show? I don't even know.
I do.
It's a great show.
It's a okay
for its
show.
time, for what it is. It's a great Disney show. So it's kind of funny. We didn't get a Brother Bear show. That's all I'm saying.
No, we didn't. And it's funny you say that because I don't remember who I was talking to that I said experiment 626, and they were like, "What?" I'm like, and I think it was we were talking about Lilo and Stitch, and I said, "Oh yeah, experiment 626 was something." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "He's an experiment. He's an alien," and they were just confused.
That's kind of insane because that's what they run with in the show.
Yes.
Is all of the numbered experiments, and they're collecting them like Pokemon.
Yeah,
that's kind of insane. Yeah.
So I get that. Yeah, definitely forced. Stitch is a cute thing like Olaf, so let's make it merchable.
In theory, maybe endlessly merchable because of all the different experiments, but that never came to fruition. Obviously, it was maybe a little bit before its time, in some ways, and in that way.
Yeah, but definitely some of those experiments could have been turned into something. I don't know how much you know about the other experiments. I know maybe like 4, but my favorite experiment was 625, which is the little yellow guy that always ate sandwiches, and he would try to like build the biggest sandwiches that you could ever build. There was a game on Disney, like the Disney.com/games thing, that he was on there, and you could build sandwiches with him.
Yeah, I can see a Funko Pop with him and a sandwich stack next to him right now. Yeah, a little bit before its time in that way. It's kind of funny though because Brother Bear was a pretty big hit at the theater. It wasn't this flop like, so I want to say Emperor's New Groove probably was a lesser movie in that way. So it's just, I don't know, it's kind of funny that the Brother Bear is not in anyone's, kind of weekly rotation of random thoughts, like anywhere. I've never come across a Brother Bear fan.
Until me.
Until you.
That's interesting. And it's kind of hard to see it from an outsider's perspective because I saw it right when it came out, and I forced all my friends to see it when they came over. And I mean, this is probably one of the best Disney movies. So I don't understand the hate, the bad reviews that are out there, just the non-love for this movie.
You saw bad reviews?
I saw a lot of bad reviews.
This movie's as good as Little Mermaid, as good as Hercules, as good as Lion King. I think it fits right in the echelon of those films. Is it better than Emperor's New Groove, even though I have a soft spot for that? I'd have to rewatch Emperor's New Groove. Something tells me maybe not, but I don't know. But because, the universe turned Cusco into a fucking llama to teach his ass.
Hey, that's pretty funny.
That's funny. I like that. And we get a similar thing here, actually, where we get a guy turned in to an animal to teach his ass a lesson. So there's a similar kind of thread there. But yeah, man, I remember being very bored by Brother Bear when I was little. And rewatching it, I am here to report that it's not a boring movie, but it does feel like a Disney movie of that time, which is not a bad thing. I think it's actually somewhat of a compliment for the time.
Whoa. Complimenting Disney?
This era of Disney, it wasn't only but a few more years where they really just didn't know how to capitalize on what they had, or they tried with the direct-to-DVD VHS thing, and that didn't pan out. I mean, maybe it panned out exactly how they wanted it, and all those movies sold, really well, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because you tell people there's a Little Mermaid 2, they're like, what? Or even Little Mermaid 3, excuse me?
Or Aladdin 2 and 3.
Oh, Aladdin 2 and 3, that Ariel had a kid.
You don't make acquisitions like buying Marvel out of this is an organic, natural way to grow our company. You make those kind of acquisitions out of desperation and survivability. And so there's probably it's probably easily searchable, but probably a feeling of Disney at the time, early 2000s to like 2007 or 8, where Disney kind of lost its magic. So, and I think this gets lost in the whole just weirdness that was happening at the time. And then not to mention the boom of like Disney Channel stuff. You know, I don't know, there was just a weird number of things kind of getting in the way of the final piece in the core Disney legacy that they'll always be remembered for.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Disney's going to be remembered in 1,000 years. Probably at all. But not for Marvel. I think it's going to be a little more for the 2D animation of the late 80s to the early 2000s.
Oh, definitely. The Disney princesses.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be remembered for.
I mean, exactly right. That's a great canary in the coal mine for what's to come in several hundred more years. And I don't think Marvel stands a chance in that. But that might just be me. But yeah, man, I want to hear your thoughts on Brother Bear, man. This is a favorite of yours that you've always, it's that Swan Princess and Beauty and the Beast. It's like, those are your movies.
Those are my go-tos.
What would be your spirit animal?
What would be my spirit animal?
How is Kenai going to get the bear and be like bummed out by it? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's like so cool.
His issue is the bear of love. If they would have said the bear of ferociousness or the bear of strength, yeah, he would have been all for it. But I don't know, man. I feel like my spirit animal has always been some kind of cat who likes to lay in the heat.
House cat.
Can plants be spirit animals? I also feel like I'm a plant of some sort. I love the warmth. I love to be out in the sun and get my energy of the day and photosynthesize.
Well, those plants are those animals that kind of behave like plants, like sponges and coral.
I don't want to be a sponge or a coral. And then I also thought sloth. Sloth,
Sloth would be fitting too, because there were sloths at this time in the Americas.
I thought you were going to say it'd be fitting because I'm lazy, but...
No.
But
I'd want to be a sloth. Fuck.
You'd want to be a sloth?
A 6-foot sloth at the time? Yes.
Oh my god, no.
That does bring up a problem I have with this movie before I forget and never talk about this movie ever again. I don't like that this movie on the record takes place in so-called like Alaska and like their Native American folks, because I've seen people kind of citing this. I have a little bit of a problem with that, because this movie obviously takes place 12, 15, 20,000 years ago, pre-human civilization in any really meaningful form.
Well, Wiki says it's post-Ice Age Alaska, which could mean...
Yeah, 20,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's pre-society and community of really any consequential way. They're not Native Americans. They're primitive people. This predates...
So were they not primitive enough for you?
No, they're primitive enough, but I just don't like how people refer to them as anything else other than primitive people. That's just what they are. They're primitive people.
Okay.
They're not of any area. Like, they're not of any nation. They're not... It's not... I guess pre-Alaska's fine for...
Pre-Alaska.
For, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I was just like, that seems so intentionally specific.
Okay.
That's not what they are. They're just...
Just because it's cold?
Yeah.
Or just because they're obviously around the Canadian...
Yeah, and they play
border?
that up, of course, with Took and Rhett. Is that his name?
Yeah.
So that's cute and everything, but I was just like, that's such a weird thing to get hung up on. I'm getting hung up on it right now. But yeah, man, I'm glad you brought this movie up, because I did enjoy it, though.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm always glad when someone enjoys a movie that I absolutely love. And hopefully there's some of that love being contagious and make someone appreciate it a lot more. But not to a point where it's impairing your judgment of what the movie really is. So I'm glad. I just absolutely love the story of Brother Bear and just how emotional and heartfelt it is. And it feels like you experience such a wide range of emotions watching this. It shows you what a family is, but it also shows you what a family has the potential to be. And I don't know, just something about that warms my heart that a movie can do that. And I know there's other Disney movies that, like you just said, Emperor's New Groove transforms a man into an animal to teach him a lesson. And I'm sure there's other Disney movies about bringing in an outsider and making them family, but I just feel like there's so much more here than just that. I mean, what Kenai has to go through, his whole journey, his whole adventure, is not a typical adventure that Disney characters go through. I also like that we give a lot of our characters some complexity. We have Kenai, which, you know, his complexities are obvious, but his brothers, especially Denali, which I don't know. I don't know what the internet has against him, but people do not like him for some reason. But this is also his transformation journey too. We just don't get to see his point of view, but it's there. It's obvious, and I like that. And of course, the score and the soundtrack are fucking awesome. And I don't know what the talk is in regards to Phil Collins. I know people associate him with Tarzan a lot of the times and what he did for there. And yeah. I don't know if he's liked or not. I don't know, but... Yeah,
he's one of the most famous musicians to ever live.
Yeah, okay.
He used to work with Peter Gabriel in Genesis.
Cool. The soundtrack gets me in all the songs. I can't... Oh my god, they're so good. You have the On My Way song that Coda sings when they're on their little adventure. I mean, that's great. He starts out singing the song, and then Phil Collins takes it away. I mean, I don't know, something about that is pretty cool.
I feel like we've been saying it a lot lately, in that it's something you don't see very much, or you've never seen it before, and I hate to kind of repeat that and be that kind of person, but there is something really kind of, I don't know, it's that weird feeling of this is really fresh and fun, and this is awesome. Yeah, I totally get that. I don't think that's in another Disney movie in this era of Disney.
I don't think so either. And you know, not the I don't know if it's the last song.
It's almost kind of making fun of itself too in one way, because they start walking, and he's, walking the way he walks kind of silly. I guess baby bears just walk silly anyways. A lot of babies do, I guess, just period.
That's true.
And then he starts singing for the long trip, and it's just, there's something kind of humorous about the whole situation too, but it's because of who Phil Collins is, and because of just the mood of the movie. It's kind of sad at the same time, and so it's really cool.
Yes. And don't even get me started on that last song when Kenai is telling Coda what he did. It's a tearjerker. I don't have to watch the movie to be crying when I hear this song.
You just gotta hear the song.
Oh my god. It makes me cry. This movie makes me cry every time I watch it. And I've seen this way too many times to count.
Yeah, before watching this with you, I wasn't sure if I'd ever seen it all the way through, actually. Mm-hmm. And after watching it, I was like, oh, I've definitely seen this at least once. Everything was very familiar, maybe 2 or 3 times, but no more than 5. It's kind of stylistically interesting, the way they make Kenai tell Coda that he killed his mom. Like, they don't really explicitly just, sit him down. Oh, yeah, I killed your mom. My bad. They do it in a really just the most gut punchy way. Like, it's kind of out of place in the rest of the movie, because there's nothing that, there can't really, it's kind of the big climax of the whole thing, or big reveal for Coda at the very least. So they can't really just pull this out at the very beginning, middle, and end type thing. But it's so like perfectly placed that, and so just well executed with its song. The song is everything. without Phil Collins, I don't know if he wrote these compositions, but
yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I'm just like, wow. I don't feel like Disney taps into this sad thing very much. In where they did, I think it mostly lived in Pixar, and then that even was very like hit or miss, and really 9 times out of 10 a very half step, because they don't have anything to fucking say, nor 9 times out of 10 in Pixar.
Damn.
I will say this: the 2D era of Disney runs fucking circles around Pixar. Hot take? I don't know. I don't fucking care either.
There's a lot to unpack there. But let me start with this.
Just ignore the last part.
Well, I have something to say about the last part, for sure. But the big reveal is a big reveal to us, too, not just Coda. Because we don't know that was his mom.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Of course.
So can you fucking imagine?
That's right. The sad part in my mind is he has to tell...
Yes.
The mom... I mean, he has to tell the kid that he killed his mom. That's fucking crazy stuff
right there. That's crazy. Who does that?
That's the sad part in my mind. But yes, of course, we don't know. Yes.
Yeah, we don't know. We feel bad for Coda. But yeah, Kenai, oh my God, he has to tell him. One of the things that make this scene, for me, just super sad is that he learned to take accountability for his actions. And how many Disney characters take accountability for their actions?
Yeah, through guilt, embarrassment, being ashamed. These are some of the hardest lessons to learn in life that no one ever learns enough of. Yes. You can't be humbled enough.
Yes.
And how many characters in movies learn their lesson through being ashamed or being through guilt,
Not enough. Not enough, for sure. And I don't know, that's just that's so sad. That's so sad that's how you have to learn. And it's great. And in that scene, I guess I never noticed how it was being told, watching it numerous times throughout my life. But yeah, they did tell it in the most gut-wrenching way they possibly could. I was watching an interview they did with the animator, I believe, one of the lead animators. And they said at first, this scene, they contemplated just Kenai telling Coda straight up. No music, no nothing, no score, nothing, just silent background. That got a little too sad for everybody, so they kind of had to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, that would have been a different pace too.
But I absolutely love the way they did it now. Not only do you have Kenai not telling us exactly what happened, because we know what happened. Thank you for not making the audience dumb and letting us, I guess, feel smart that we know what's going on here. We know how to fill in the clues. I mean, even the kids can know how to do this. But just something about the way they did it and just the tone of all the colors in that scene, and we're just spinning around them on that cliffside.
And you see Coda's face.
You see, oh my God, you see Kenai's face. And you see Kenai not looking at Coda. He's like looking off to the side, telling him. He's not making eye contact. And oh my God, it's so good.
It is good.
There's some sad Pixar movies, for sure.
Oh, here we go.
But nothing like this.
No, not a fucking chance, man.
No, nothing like this. I mean, is it the 4th Toy Story that they played with our emotions a little bit and made Andy go off to college? Or is that the 3rd one?
That's the 3rd one.
Okay, the 3rd one. That was how do you say that? Like that was a forced sadness to those of us who grew up in that era, and then we also went off to college. So that doesn't count.
The 3rd Toy Story?
Yeah.
It may have been forced because it requires the setup of, growing up with Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an element of forcedness there, but I would argue that it's a pretty natural idea to come up with if you want to continue the Toy Story franchise.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Monsters Inc. in the other direction where, Sully and Mike's relationship is awesome. I could see you wanting to explore that, the embryonic stages of that.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
Yeah, I'm talking about a sadness level.
Yeah.
Am I going to cry again when I watch Toy Story 3? Probably not.
No, you're gonna feel old.
I'm gonna cry for different reasons. And I guess Bing Bong, the imaginary dude in Inside Out.
Lame.
That was sad, but that was only sad the first time. You know, losing your imaginary friend, losing that innocence. All right. But, oh man, this time, we could watch it again.
And you'll cry.
And I'll cry. I'm on the verge of tears right now.
That's
it's
awesome.
so good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I also like the setup to the reveal as well, where they're in like this story circle, and they have like the pillow, the talking pillow, or whatever people normally have, but it's like a half-eaten salmon, and if you catch it, you got to tell a story. It's so cute.
Which before you finish your thought, someone said online like how stupid of them to pass around a headless salmon. They were just going on about
what else is it gonna be?
They wanted it to be a stick.
If they were dogs, or that would be a bone maybe or something. But no, that's stupid.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're bears. They just had a salmon feast.
Yeah, which is pretty brutal, actually.
Yes, it was. This whole movie's semi-brutal.
That was one of the 2 CG scenes in the movie too. That one and the caribou scene, which the salmon one looked better, probably because salmon can float in the water, and you can sell it a little bit more. The caribou one looked pretty rough.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I guess my eyes gravitate towards their feet when I notice CG and stuff, and then like when I see it, I just can't unsee it. I'm just like, fuck, why do my eyes gravitate towards the worst part of the CG? But it didn't look bad. It ages actually pretty well, I would say, for 2003 for sure.
For sure.
I mean, it's gonna live forever now, because if it looks fine now, we're good. We're in the clear.
Yeah.
Past the test of time, I think, in that way. Yeah, and then the big beer, the big black one, I think he was like a New York beer or something, and he was cool. He was like the ringleader of all the bears.
Yeah, Tug.
He's cool. I like him.
He was cool.
Yeah, I like all the personality of the different bears. They all look different. How do they? There's probably 30 bears in that scene, and they all have different flavors to them and stuff. It's very neat.
But you were talking about the setup.
No, I just liked the passing around story time. Coda just speeds through it, and Tug's just like, or one of them's like, "What? What do you
say that?"
And that's a little. You could maybe argue that's a little forced because but I don't know. Maybe not, because that's Coda's whole thing right now. He wants to find his mom, and so it's on his mind. So maybe not actually.
Well, he also was so excited to tell Kenai when they first met.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
And
that's proper setup. It's perfect then. Yeah.
Kenai was like, oh no, this sounds too good. You should wait.
Yeah.
Awesome setup.
Yeah.
Because then what if Kenai would have found out then too?
I forgot about that.
We wouldn't have had our moment. We wouldn't have had the love. We wouldn't have had him choose to permanently stay a bear for Coda. Great setup.
What do you think about your favorite actor playing your favorite bear?
That was awesome to find out. Oh my god. Who knew?
I thought it was Elijah Woods, whatever his name is. But I guess they just kind of sound similar in their younger ages. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix plays 2 characters in 2 of your favorite movies that, from back when, that you didn't even know about.
I didn't know he was meant to be one of my favorite actors. That's pretty awesome. And I love how I didn't know the whole time. And I was trying to place it because the voice sounded familiar, but not, not familiar enough. And he was a lot younger then. You sound just a little bit different. But that was cool. I thought there were more voice cast members here that I would recognize, but there's really not, besides Joaquin Phoenix. But oh my god, that movie went into a deeper place. in my soul. How did you feel about the scene when Kenai wakes up after being turned into a bear and we have the perspective switch? Not only do our colors seem just brighter or maybe a different tone, I couldn't really tell. I just knew there was a big difference. And apparently some of the ratio changed too.
Yeah, the screen got a little bigger.
I didn't notice that. I just noticed the color.
Yeah, I feel like that would be more noticeable now than it used to be on the box TVs. But yeah, I guess you didn't notice. Because I like the more squared ratio. The lighthouse starts out in like a square. I think it actually might be like a 1x1.
Oh my gosh.
And it's nuts. And 5 minutes in, it's gone. It's just like, why? I wish we could play with that a little bit more, but it's just not a thing today, I don't think. It's cool. It's one of those things that it's kind of hard to notice, and then when you are told, you pay attention, you're like, oh shit, it's pretty cool. And I guess after the switch, or I should say, in the beginning, it looks less Disney like, and then it evolves into a little bit more of a traditional Disney art style.
Yeah, I can see that.
Cause like, especially the bear when they're humans, he's pretty graphic.
That bear looks nuts.
Yeah, he's kind of scary, and that's all part of the point. But I do think that's very neat that they do that.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was very clever, and the especially the color thing I noticed as a kid, and just remember loving that, the idea that there's animals that see different than we do. I thought that was the message there.
Yeah, sure.
And now
it's probably the more of the other way around though, that the world is kind of scary for humans. It was kind of colorified in like a fun way for the animals, because that's their world, human world, animal world. They tried to emphasize that the outside non-human world is scary for humans. I think that's what that was.
Okay. Yeah, because even the chipmunk or squirrel or whatever that thing was that Kenai as a human sneaks up on or whatever doesn't look as beautiful as the chipmunks that have all the nuts in their cheeks. And I didn't pay attention, but maybe even the mammoths change a little bit of color, because we see them before and after.
I mean, and just what happens on screen too, because there's a bunch of killing, a bunch of hunting, one of the brothers falling off of fucking ice. That doesn't really happen. Stuff like that doesn't really happen in the animal side of the film, where they're riding mammoths. The mammoths are their taxis. There's big kumbayas with the other bears. There's only really an element of death and danger when Denali, is that his name? Mm-hmm. When Denali is...
Denahi.
When Denahi is after them. That's the only, you were kind of reminded of the lethality of the whole world, because humans are fucking violent.
And that scene we had where they're looking at the cave paintings, and we have Kenai looking at the bear, and then Coda says they're really scary, and Kenai kind of just nods his head in agreement, yeah, they're scary. And then Coda says, especially with those pointy sticks, and then we have that also gut-wrenching moment where Kenai realizes that, oh my god, he's not talking about the bear, he's talking about the humans, and kind of has that self-reflection moment. So it all ties in.
It's excellently kind of executed, vision on what they're trying to say. I mean, every scene might be important. I wish I was smart enough to keep up with if every scene adds into something else and everything's, used in a meaningful way. But that would require pen and paper and shit.
And thought.
I had to pause the movie and back it up and stuff. And
yeah, it's all so beautifully done, and we didn't have any romance or even a traditional villain, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, the villain here was symbolically...
Was the villain here the lack of willingness to change? Because we have a lot of transformation here, and kind of not walking in somebody else's shoes. You know, not Kenai not putting himself in Mama Bear's shoes. Not thinking she could possibly have a little cub out there. Or Kenai not putting himself in Koda's shoes. Or Sitka's.
Yeah.
Or Denahi's.
Yeah, and Denahi's kind of a constant reminder of just letting go and, letting, when things happen, you just got to kind of accept it.
Mm-hmm. And that's, we've said it a million times about this movie, but that's so different. Little Mermaid, you have Ursula. Beauty and the Beast, you have Gaston. They have a Disney's villains show. I mean,
do they really?
Didn't they have that House of Mouse villains thing? I don't know.
Oh, is that what that was?
I think that's what that was. It was like Halloween. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that. But Maleficent.
Yeah, you can't sell stubbornness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't really look like anything other than a actual whole piece like this.
A lot of the reviews I read were claiming this movie was too childish.
Well, that's funny. I was thinking this movie is actually one of the lesser childish Disney films of this time, especially because, like, in my mind, I was just comparing it kind of like, this versus this, this versus this. And then I was just like, man, that's probably one reason I was so fucking bored with this movie when I was a kid, because this movie just doesn't hold up against the attention-grabbing, Tarzan, Emperor's New Groove with fucking David Spade, right? Or Hercules, it's got child written all over it, right? One of the great Disney films, of course, but it is what it is.
Hercules? Ugh. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while, but I don't even think I finished it when I was a child.
I think one reason it's probably loved is the art style, first and foremost. It's definitely got, it's kind of the peak of Disney animation, I think.
But kids don't love art style yet. They don't know that's what they love.
It's true. And I would also say maybe Hercules isn't loved like Little Mermaid, like Lion King. It's not quite on that level. Like, those would be S tier. Hercules maybe A tier.
Okay.
And then I would say maybe in Tarzan B tier. And then Brother Bear and Emperor's New Groove or
don't you
or
dare.
C tier on that scale. Lilo and Stitch would be B tier. Mulan would be probably.
Oh, Mulan's epic.
That's a great movie, but probably B tier.
No way.
On Love,
Who?
I think so.
Who
I
doesn't
don't
like
know.
Mulan?
I didn't like it when I was a kid.
Oh my god. All right. This is an argument for another day. But yeah, I could see them thinking it's a little bit childish when we introduce Rut and Took and their jokes, their I Spy joke when they're on the mammoth.
But but they're the only real relief to what's going on here.
Yes, and even that joke with the old lady that says, "I wish my husband Edgar was here to see this," and you hear Edgar in the background saying, "Woman, I'm right here." I could see those jokes being a bit childish, but that's it, man. You can't say this movie is childish because of 2-3 jokes.
Yeah, I think that's a very odd thing to say, especially because the other Disney films are like almost to an obnoxious degree colorful. It's like, we'll talk about childish. I don't know exactly. I don't know maybe about the exact words that are coming out of people's mouths in some of the other ones, but they are so colorful that a lot of times it's hard to get away from that this is for kids. I think Disney helped paint that picture that animated stuff is for kids to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Brother Bear is way too boring for kids. I'm just gonna say it. Personal experience.
And what was my problem? Because I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I love it even more now as an adult.
I don't know. It's too late to psychoanalyze you. Maybe how grounded it is kind of spoke to you, because I wouldn't say any of the other Disney films are very grounded. They feel very whimsical and.
Yeah, I was gonna say real, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I could see past the literal transformation and appreciate the metaphorical transformation Kenai went through. And him as a bear, he looks fucking cute as fuck. Bears are already cute. It all ties back into that big monster love that I have.
Yeah,
I guess.
maybe there's something to that. Actually, that's a good thought. I mean, part of you may have been tired enough already of the villain thing. It's kind of a boring thing to pull out, especially over and over and over and over again, because of just at the clip Disney was making these movies. It's just like, okay, who's the villain behind door number 1? It's like, oh, it's Hades. Cool. And then he's got henchmen, and it's just like, I don't know, just there's something kind of stale about that.
Yeah.
And I think they knew that. I think they struck kind of gold there and were able to define so many childhoods over the course of, those 15 years at such a just unbelievable rate. Like, there's just nothing else like the output Disney was doing right there. It's really one of the most amazing things to happen in the movie industry for sure. But at the same time, they did dig their own grave, and they know that. You can look at all the sequels. Because I like Treasure Planet. I think if that's someone's favorite out there, and they have a hard time understanding like why other people don't get it, maybe it's a similar thing where they don't. I think there's a proper villain in that one, but it's also the first like mostly CG Disney like so-called 2D animation. It's a mix.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird. It's weird in a similar way. Like Lilo and Stitch, not weird. It kind of fits the 90s fold a little more, I think. Emperor's New Groove, I think, kind of starts to go into the other direction. Brother Beer, Treasure Planet. So I don't know. All I know is when that shit came on, I turned that shit off. That's all I know. Oh, where's my Pokemon at? God damn it. What do you think about the end? The kind of wrap up? I guess it's the obvious kind of ending. They set it up in a smart way. They kind of let you know where the end is going to be from the get-go, so you're not just like, all right, this is the end. They kind of set it up properly, and it's as good as it can be. Its endings are hard to pull off. Just end of story.
Yeah, it's a great ending. We have Kenai and Denahi fighting. Denahi's about to kill him. He's so angry. He finally caught up to him. It's been days. I don't know how long it's been. And he's ready to kill this motherfucker. He's ready to kill the bear. And then here comes Sitka, transforms him. Boom, it's really your brother. Oh my God. He went through that. His face was his own transformation right there. And then another heart-wrenching moment when Kenai tells Sitka, like, I think I need to stay a bear. And you're like, damn, that makes sense. But damn.
But does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I guess we didn't have a prequel to see Kenai's life before, but him being there at the salmon run with all the other bears, I don't know, just something about the expression on his face, how he's never felt. It's in the song too. Jesus, this has to be the most beautiful place I've ever been to. It's like he knew he fit in here. He fit in with the bears. Damn. Oh my God, that was awesome. And then you have friggin' Coda's mom come back and give Coda a hug. If you're not already crying. At this point, I had already been crying since Kenai told Coda about that he killed his mom. So I've been crying for the last 20 minutes. However long that is, 15, 20 minutes, that's how long I've been crying. And then you have this very beautiful scene when Kenai hugs his brothers as a bear and gives them a literal bear hug. And it's nice. It's very nice. Great ending. And he gets to go put his little paw on the wall as a bear. People accepted him.
There's almost an element of accepting people for who they are too.
Yeah.
There.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. I need to go make everyone watch it. I need to go make my nieces and nephews watch this. It might go over their little heads, but maybe if I explain it to them.
That'll help. They'll be like, You can get that out of a movie? Well, yeah.
You sure can.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for watching Brother Bear with me and talking about it today.
You're welcome.
That was a good talk.
That was a good talk. Hopefully, people go out there and watch Brother Bear again and give it a second chance.
Yeah, you want to talk to me about the hate that you saw? What's that about? Did you
just how childish it was, how boring it was? One reviewer said it's often just as dull as it is engaging. Yeah, and I guess the moose get a lot of hate. Predictable, just funny. Lackluster story only for kindergartners. Lackluster story only for kindergartners.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. Kindergartners like fucking Coco Melon. I will say Roger Ebert likes Took and the other one, Rhett.
He likes them?
He liked them, yeah.
I mean, they're funny. They're hilarious. They get stuck on a mammoth. And then at the end of the movie, one of them, I guess, got in an accident and lost his little antler.
You could say he was in a mammoth of an accident.
Oh my god. No. And they don't say it. They don't say, oh, look at my little antler, it's gone. They're just talking about the accident they were in. And if you're paying attention, oh my gosh.
It's almost like they know how to make a movie.
Almost. Yeah, someone said, I still don't understand how Brother Bear got an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Film, but there are plenty of worse movies out there.
There are plenty of worse movies out there?
But I guess there are plenty of worse movies out there.
I mean, I guess that's true.
That's not a review. Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, it's favored on Letterboxd.
That's good.
So
I'm glad.
There's lots of, and that's a nice little, distribution of folks over there. Lots of millions of folks over there. So, what would you give it on your Letterboxd?
Probably a 3.5 or a 4. I was leaning 3.5, but then now talking to you, I'm like, man, this is a 4. Jesus.
That's even better.
It's even better.
That's funny. That's good. Good to hear.
I feel like at the start of our first episode, when we were mere babies, I would have given this a 5.
What's good? You want to exercise that top half of scoring a little more, have some integrity, and have a little more fun with the scaling of it all. Like, why do you want the middle of the scale to be the average movie? That means half of your scale is going to consist of below average movies. Why? That's not fun.
That means I would have had to give The Elephant Man a 10 out of a 5.
Yeah.
Like, no, can't do that. So I say that because I know you'd be proud of me.
That's good. Yeah, you should always be reformulating itself in your mind, kind of trying to figure out that it's almost like you're taking an average of your formulas to figure out the proper algorithm to arrange all this stuff in your mind. And there's been a few movies that help figure that out for me too. The Elephant Man, A Clockwork Orange, the ones I always say. Oh man, do you have a budget for me?
I do, and this one was hard because of it being animated and because of the inflation. So I would probably give this, I gave it 60 million, but I had no idea. I felt like 100 was too much, and then I brought it to 75, and 75 still sounded like too much, but then 50 sounded like not enough, so I went with 60.
Well, it says here that it was $46 million. I'm not sure if that accounts for inflation or not, because if it doesn't, you're probably right in the money if it doesn't count for inflation, if you inflate that 46 to money today. But yeah, that seems about right. Hour and 30 minutes, almost $50 million.
Very little CG. Well, I guess it's hand-drawn, so I don't know. I know nothing.
Yeah, they don't pay animators anything, so.
Oh, then we're good.
Cheap. Yeah, but it went on to make $250 million. So
holy fuck.
Did pretty decent. Not those Lion King numbers I'm sure they were hoping for to have again, but.
This is still awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good job.
They don't care about making investments like this anymore.
No, they don't.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Filmistines, where we can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of The Filmistines over on Patreon, Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the goods. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is The Filmistines, signing off.